Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm doing a Q&A. Before I start, I wanted to give a shout out to my patrons, May, Ness, Shirin, Sama, and Rami, and the anonymous donor who gave me $50. Basically, I asked people to donate some money to help fund for better recording equipment, and I got this awesome mic stand and this little thing called it's a shock mount. It's called a shock mount. Yeah. Because of them, I had enough money to buy better recording equipment, and thank you to them. I will try my hardest to make my content as worthy of your donations as possible. Moving on to the questions. The first one is, what are some ways you've learned how to take care of yourself this year? I really like this question a lot, and that's why I chose to do it first. Honestly, it was very hard for me to adapt to the coronavirus. What helped me cope was yoga. Yoga is really good for mindfulness and, recentering your mental state and spirit and body and whatnot. But it's also really good for back pain, which is originally the reason why I started doing yoga. The next question is, how did you and Andrea decide to come up with a podcast? Well, Andrea was actually the first person to introduce me to a podcast. It was The Adventure Zone by the McElroy family, and eventually, like all things, I start to imagine myself doing that sort of art because I just really love being a content creator. So of course, I was introduced to a new medium and I was like, yo, this is really cool. I want to do that. Actually, that's a lie. Even though I've read books for a very long time, I've never imagined myself being a writer or like a writer for like anything. I've never imagined myself doing that. But other art forms, I definitely fantasize about doing stuff in that area. But yeah, I started thinking about doing a queer podcast, which that just takes a lot of mental energy. I've decided to not do that. I definitely have episode ideas written down for that kind of podcast, and I have already some stuff recorded for that podcast, even though I am not filming that podcast. I didn't even answer the question. Oh my god. Okay, Andrea and I, we are both very analytical people. We're very concerned about how media represents minorities and how media has such a strong influence on society. And so, yeah, we have a lot of analytical talks casually, and eventually we were kind of like, wow, we're hella smart. What if we started a podcast? Why Mothman so good? The answer is no, Mothman is not good because I don't like majority of Mothman's designs, unfortunately. I like the Mothman designs where they are conveniently attractive, which I know is super hypocritical of me and really out of character considering considering the monsters that I like. But Mothman has never been very appealing for me, so sorry, but Mothman's not good. So I got multiple questions for this, and basically, any new shows and film recommendations. Sorry. I don't know what the fuck just happened. Yeah, so any new shows and film recommendations, and what have I been watching recently? So I haven't been watching a lot of stuff in like the last 2 months. I've basically been watching Twitch nonstop. It's not great for me and my watch list. I watched a Netflix animated musical called Over the Moon yesterday with my siblings. It was really good. I kind of cried a lot. His Dark Material season 2 is starting and it's really good. I'm really excited for the rest of the season. I'm like desperately looking at HBO shows to fill the gap in my chest where Game of Thrones used to be. Infinity Train also, I was catching up on that because I watched season 1 when it came out and didn't watch the season 2 and 3, but that was also on HBO Max. It's fucking phenomenal. I will make a proper review of Infinity Train one day, but just like trust me when I say it's a really good cartoon. when are you starting to stream on Twitch? I've already started streaming on Twitch actually. I am almost done playing Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Nadine and Chloe, they're exploring some ruins, trying to find lost treasure and stuff like that, which is the premise of the other Uncharted games. Anyway, yeah, I have started streaming on Twitch. I don't have an official schedule. Favorite artists, not music. I just don't know another word for artists. I follow so many artists on social media. It's literally impossible for me to answer this question. One of the artists that first pops into my head when I heard this question is Trevor Henderson. He is a horror artist from Canada, I think. He is the creator of Siren Head, and I think he's really cool, and I really like his art, and you should check him out. What's a movie you wish had a video game based off of it? Oh, this is so hard. A lot of my favorite movies I don't think would be good in a video game format. I wish there were more superhero games. I know there's a lot, and there's a lot of Batman games, but I think superhero games are very limited. Like I feel like you can do so much more with them. I mean, first of all, you know, you need to branch off from Batman, please, or at least other people in the Bat community. Bat community. Yeah, Batman has enough games. No, well, I do want another Batman Arkham game. But also I would like DC Comics to invest in other characters. Ooh, you know what would be really good actually? Birds of Prey would be pretty good as a video game. Oh, you know what would be really great? If Star Trek had a video game. I don't know if they actually do. If you had the chance to work with a director, who would it be? Easy answer, Guillermo del Toro and David Fincher, not David Fincher, Zack Snyder. Snyder and del Toro are very approachable people, in my opinion. Not only are they very nice, but they're just, I've seen enough reviews. No one's writing reviews on their behavior. I've seen like imagine writing reviews for like your experience with a director. I've seen enough like content and articles about people's experiences working with that director to know that they would be very nice to me. I greatly respect them as a person, as a artist. I just think they're brilliant people. The reason why I said David Fincher earlier is because that is a director I admire and absolutely do not want to work with ever. He terrifies me. I know he would rip me to shreds because he values and looks for people who come to set prepared and ready to work. And that's something I just can't do because I'm not an actor and I can't be a crew member either because I don't know anything about the film industry. So David Fincher, I love you, but I would never work with you. Do you still have your Castiel trench coat? Heart eyes emoji, hashtag 2020, hashtag you're only gay once. This is a sarcastic question from my sibling Robin. And the answer is yes, I still have that trench coat. And no, it is not a Castiel trench coat. Stop calling it that. It's not a Castiel trench coat, and I didn't use it for Castiel cosplay. Don't spread lies about me, man. When will you stop pretending coconut water is good? This is also from Robin. And I'm not lying. Coconut water is good. If you ever get the chance to drink coconut water out of an actual coconut, it is fucking awesome and it tastes really good. Do you think you'd ever stop reading fiction books? I'm assuming you say books to separate it from comics. Yeah, because if you didn't say books, I would say, of course I'm still reading fiction because I read comics. But because you specify books, it's just very hard for me to find a book that I enjoy, not just because I'm very picky, but because I've noticed that a lot of books are just very problematic in many ways, and every time I speak up about it, I'm kind of just silenced by people. So maybe I will just read books and not interact with the book community, or I don't know. I don't know. It's just I've had a very hard time finding books that I enjoy. What color do you gravitate towards when journaling? Orange is not a color I actually really like, but it looks really good on paper. I mean, like, my favorite colors are like black, white, and red, and all of them obviously wouldn't really look good on paper. So orange is like the next best thing for me. Besides BioShock, what were the prominent video games of your childhood slash early teens? Very complicated answer because I didn't really quote unquote get into video games until I was a teenager. As a child, as a youth, I played the Game Boy and PS2. The Game Boy was very random games. I wasn't playing like Pokemon or anything like that. There was like this random Disney game and a Hot Wheels game. Yeah. Very, very random Game Boy games. And that's mainly because I didn't have friends in my life that would have supported my interests in video games or friends who would recommend video games to me. On PS2, I played Pac-Man and Sonic. I wasn't very good. I wasn't as invested in it, so I typically didn't get past like level 2 on both games. And then when I started watching gameplays on YouTube as a preteen, the games that I remember really liking the most are Corpse Party and Ib, but they were very story-heavy games, and I was like, oh shit, this is really cool. It's like watching a movie. And plus, because it was like someone on YouTube playing it, it was like commentary as well, and it was like really fun to watch. That's how I really started getting into video games, watching gameplays on YouTube. And then as a teenager, when I started playing video games myself, the games that were really prominent for that stage of my life were BioShock, of course, but Dragon Age, EA games was really important to me at the time. Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. By the time I started playing Inquisition, I've gravitated more towards games with guns, which is why I still like Mass Effect, which is by the same company as Dragon Age. If you could erase your memory of a game and replay it again for the first time, what game? So a lot of the games I have played, I don't remember the story, so this isn't a problem for me. As for a game that I do remember very clearly, BioShock, obviously the franchise, I've replayed it so many times, of course I know it by heart. Also Tomb Raider, out of the trilogy, my favorite was the first game. I've replayed that 3 times, I think. I would love to play that as if I've never played it before. How much water do you drink in a day? Not enough, buddy. Not enough. Favorite The Magnus Archives episode? Thrown Away. That's the episode with the garbage collectors. I think that garbage collectors, as this episode has explained, they know so much about our lives because they literally pick up our trash. So I think in general, in fiction, they are very underused, and I mean, they provide so much opportunity to explore in a story, especially for horror, which is what the Magnus Archives did. Lost John's Cave. I have gone cave diving, but just not as intensive as it was in this episode. So that was terrifying because I have gone to caves for like that. And I really liked A Father's Love. I just really like serial killer stories. And also The Killing Floor. Again, that is a perspective that hasn't really been explored in fiction, and I really appreciate the Magnus Archives using that perspective in their story. Can you tell us what apps / tools you use for your digital art? So I use Procreate on my iPad. I also have it on my phone. I know iPads are very expensive, but if you ever want to like really get into digital art, I would highly recommend using an iPad. And Procreate is a one-time payment resource, which is really great. Clip Studio Paint has there's more tools, It's on your desktop as well as the iPad, but I think on the iPad it is a monthly subscription. Both are really great resources, depending on the type of art you want to do and the type of tools you want to use for your art. You know, one is kind of better than the other. That's just something you have to do research on. Yeah, I definitely do not recommend Adobe because that is a monthly subscription that is extremely expensive, and there are much cheaper options that give you the exact same tools. What is your favorite piece of art you've made? I've made so much that I don't remember them off the top of my head. I don't even know if I still have access to them. Actually, let me check that right now and see if I still have them. I don't like that one. Oh, I like that one actually. Yeah. Oh, Christ. Oh, yeah. Peak My Chemical Romance me made this. Yeah. I mean, I still really look up to Gerard Way. Um, just looking at my old images, my old art is really weird. Yeah, I really like my Hope poster for Ellie in The Last of Us. I think this is like the first time that I made digital art and I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool. I can make art. Still life. That's rough. That is rough. I don't like doing still life and that's why it looks like this. Never again, never again. Here's the one I was looking for. Um, yeah. This was very difficult for me. But there was a lot of detail. I heavily depended on a reference photo for this art piece, but this was a lot of progress for me as an artist because I started to really do my own research on tools I could use on Photoshop, and it was a lot of progress for me at the time. All of this art was from when I first started out doing digital art. And I think I consider them my favorite more so than my more recent art because I have very fond memories of me starting out with digital art and becoming more comfortable and exploring myself as an artist. Because I definitely have improved significantly since then. Uh, but yeah, those were some of my favorite art pieces. That is all I have for this Q&A. There were so many questions. I just couldn't get through all of them. But thank you for sending me questions and thank you for watching this video. And I will see you all in the next video.